Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about people that have a Gemini sun and Capricorn moon in their natal chart. And I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. What I'm talking about is people that have that sun moon combination in their chart. Now, having a Gemini sun and Capricorn moon. Now, anyway, the basic character which is the sun in Gemini. In this case, can be versatile, loquacious, adaptable, eloquent, quick-witted, and mercurial. Now, on the unconscious side, which is the moon, the sun is the conscious side, but the moon being that unconscious side and being in Capricorn in this case could be consistent, very professional, uh, disciplined, responsible, serious, even depressive and despondent. And this is a person that may bring that quick-witted, communicative, which is Gemini, those qualities in something that could be Capricorn related, which could be business, politics, government work, doing something with information technology, accounting, dentistry. This could be a person that has very clever business ideas and solutions, and uses that. They may use their that Gemini shrewdness. The Sun in Gemini could be very shrewd. Capricorn Moon can be very business savvy. They may not always be cognizant of it or consciously aware of it, but they can be very good business acumen, and they could apply that Gemini shrewdness into something business related easily, I would say. This is also another way that this could manifest. Understand the Gemini Sun wants to assimilate and disseminate information. The Sun is connected with our basic wants, what we want to do. And Capricorn Moon, the Moon is about the emotional needs, what we need. The Capricorn Moon needs structure, discipline, career matters, maybe attaining authority. Some examples, and the true self, which is the Sun, being in Gemini in this case, can be witty, mobile, multifaceted. As some examples, and the moon is the inner self, and the moon being in Capricorn, that inner self could be more structured, premeditative, ambitious, disciplined. You're talking about a fine contrast between this sun position and the moon position. Most sun moon combinations are going to have a disparity. This is a very strong one because the Gemini Sun, the basic character, can be more whimsical, superficial, take things more lightly, more lighthearted about things, and really in Gemini, Sun, the Sun is our basic fundamental character. And the Gemini Sun again can be very capricious and not let really not let small thing, not sweating the small stuff, being very lighthearted. And then the Capricorn Moon can be almost the opposite that way, because Capricorn Moon, on a conscious level, the inner self, it can be much more serious, even despondent and melancholy, and really and very consistent. Where the Gemini Sun, the basic character is more changeable and fickle. Now, the thing about this is, I want to also state, the Sun is connected with our driving motivation, and having the Sun in Gemini, person may be driven and motivated to do manifold, which is Gemini things, and with the Moon being in Capricorn, this may be done, with much seriousness, concentration, I would say diligence as well. Now, the thing about this is, if this makes an inconjunct aspect, an inconjunct aspect is 150 degrees, and thing about this is if it does make that inconjunct aspect, an adjustment may be needed, with the sun and the moon energy being expressed. Now, it could either be, too much talk, and let me give you an example of an inconjunct aspect. I'm sorry, let me be kind and rewind. Let's say the Gemini sun is at 4 degrees and the Capricorn moon is at 2 degrees. That would form an inconjunct aspect. Now, and adjustment may be needed between too much talking. Gemini, I would say, is the most loquacious of the zodiac signs, and the sun is about what we want. This is wanting to talk. It could be too much, excessively. And then the Capricorn moon, what you feel like doing, what you need, is more about industry, hard labor, seriousness. Capricorn may be the quietest of all the zodiac signs, or one of them. Capricorn is not known to be overly, talkative or loquacious. They're known to be very quiet, and so you have a little balance of, on the positive side, you have a little balance of energy. But again, if you have that inconjunct aspect, it could be too much expression of one of these energies or the other, and the key is to find a balance and equilibrium between the two. And this is a combination, again, that could be, I would say, very good for business, because the Gemini sun is that smooth talker, and then you have the Capricorn moon, which can have that very strong business acumen. The moon is about how the public, public to some degree, how you want to be recognized to the public. And with a Capricorn moon, this could be a person that may want to be recognized to the public as somebody that's ambitious, career oriented, again, having a strong business acumen and ability, being very professional. And this person's likely going to be more structured than, consistent than the typical Gemini sun. And the other thing is to keep in mind that the sun is connected with the biological father. So this person may have a the biological father may be a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies those characteristics. Now, the moon is associated with the mother, so the mother may be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or embody those traits. Now, let's say, this could be in an out of sign, opposition aspect. Let's say that the Gemini, see as an example, if the Gemini sun is at 28 degrees, right, and you have the Capricorn moon at 0 degrees, that would form an out of sign opposition aspect. And some astrologers and astrology enthusiasts don't believe in out of sign aspects. I do. I'm going to give you an example to illustrate this. I've said this in previous videos, but I'm going to say it again in this one. Very basic example. Let's say somebody has their Cancer sun at 0 degrees, and they have Mercury in Gemini at 29 degrees. Now, you're talking about 1 degree difference, between, the energies, the planets. There's, I call that an out of sign conjunction, because you have close proximity with the sun and Mercury in that example. I still see that as friction between those planets. And the same would apply to the other aspects, which would include the sextile, the trine, the square, the opposition, and even the inconjunct aspect. And again, if you have the out of sign, and so I do believe, you can have out of sign, aspects. But anyway, if you have, the out of sign, opposition, say between Gemini sun and the Capricorn moon, sometimes it could indicate a divorce or separation with the biological father and mother. So it's really, and it's harder to I would say, to merge and blend, the energies, together of the Gemini sun and the Capricorn moon. And It's interesting because the Gemini sun, the basic character, doesn't want to be pinned down. Again, Gemini's very mercurial. They don't want to be pinned down to a certain time or deadline or have to be somewhere at a precise time. But the Capricorn moon can be almost just opposite in that nature. It can be very premeditated, but given that it's the moon, can be more unconscious regarding this but is more of a planner and is willing to be disciplined and have structure and have be at places at certain times and be consistent. And a lot of this can be a lot of if you have, it's also important to look at contraindicators in your chart. If you say you have this company, say someone with a Capricorn moon, but I mean, if they have like Sagittarius rising, they might be a little bit flightier, at least outwardly, and more jocular even than the typical person that has the Capricorn moon in their chart. I mean, a lot of it, it's important to look at other elements in your chart, whether it could be modifying influence, contraindicators, whether it could be a different ascendant, or if you have something conjunct the first house cusp, as another example. But something that could make a little bit difference in this as far as this energy goes. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.